Wander Wealthy Podcast, episode 144. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Wander Wealthy Podcast. My name is Tess Wicks. I'm the host, and it is day number 8 of our 12 Days of Money Mindset series. Now, before we dive in, make sure you head to wanderwealthy.com/webinar to sign up for one of our 3 free online live trainings where I'm going to share with you how to solve 5 of the biggest money problems. These are money problems I see my clients deal with all the time. How you can solve these without money, without determining all of the financial aspects, and first figuring out how you can use some of my favorite mindset techniques and mindset secrets and make those shifts to start solving these problems. So go to wanderwealthy.com/webinar to sign up. And once you sign up, immediately upon signing up, I will send you an email with a checklist that you can continue to use. If you haven't already signed up already, I can't imagine you haven't yet. But if you haven't, you can download this checklist and use as you're going through each day of this series. In the checklist, there's also a challenge or a journal prompt that I share on these podcasts or videos, and you can use that then and just mark it off because we love tracking our progress, don't we? I do. So wanderwealthy.com/webinar. Now today, we're going to talk about something that has been one of the hardest things for me to overcome when it comes to money mindset. And in a lot of ways, it has very little to do with money and a lot more to do with what I believed it took to create money, which was hard work and a heck of a lot of time. And this kind of boils down to like time and energy and how much we could expend, right? That's the right word, expend in order to create money. And this is something that was so deeply programmed in my subconscious mind that I'm sure came from my father and my father's father and my mother's father's father and even mothers, but just generations upon generations of people, especially, in kind of the first few hundred years of the United States, where it was really like pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work hard and build the American dream type of mindset. And even with my move from the US to Italy, I recognize that there's a little bit of a different mindset here just because of cultural differences. However, I think this mindset does spread across the world in a very kind of blanket way, but you will notice different mindsets, especially if you do travel quite a bit and you recognize just different judgments, cultural expectations of especially jobs and money. But from my programming, from my upbringing, from my father's upbringing and his father's upbringing and so on and so forth, this has been super deeply ingrained in me, which is you have to work really hard if you want to be successful. And if you're not spending a lot of time working, then you're lazy, or you're making money but you're not deserving of money, or if you're not expending a lot of energy while you're making money, then like you're just sitting on your bum, so you're lazy again, and like, do you really deserve it? It's kind of the same 2 questions that get brought up. But I notice this a lot with my clients who, even if they're in, whether it's W-2 work or they're self-employed and they're creating their own income, they have, a couple of different limiting beliefs around this idea of creating money. And in one way, it's, this feels really easy for me, so I feel like I shouldn't charge that much for my work because it's so easy for me. I wouldn't even pay myself that large amount to do this work. On one hand, it's like, this is too easy. It's not worth the amount. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this in tomorrow's episode, actually. So just, stick with that. And then on the other end, it's the idea that the work has to be hard. And so if it is easy, they make it hard. Or if it doesn't take a lot of time, they make it take a lot of time so they can truly feel deserving of the money that they're making. So you're either not charging very much or you are charging more, but then you're creating more work for yourself because we have this belief and our subconscious mind is just running on the programming of what the belief is telling it, which is, okay, we got this high ticket client or this high ticket deal, or you signed the high ticket, high earning contract with your employer. Now you got to work yourself to the bone. Otherwise, you are not deserving of the money. This is obviously not true. And you can look for so many different pieces and examples of proof of this not being true. There's obviously and amazingly, the internet has brought us all together to see that there are so many other people who are doing work they love. They're working on way less the amount of hours. This world especially is so amazing and wonderful for working moms and working moms who want to stay home, but maybe still do some work. And then they're able to make a full-time living or even support their entire family working half or part-time. This is amazing. And we see the proof and we see that it's there. But so many of us still have to sit with this idea but that doesn't apply to us because somehow I'm not deserving and I need to expend the energy or the time, or it's too easy for me and it's supposed to be hard. We know it's not true. So the challenge for you to do is really to just challenge your own thinking. Every time you think about the amount of money that you're making or that you could be making, and then you start to undercut or slice it up or chop it up in a way because you don't feel deserving in one of those ways that I mentioned, remember that there is proof out there that says it can be easy. It doesn't have to be hard. You can do it in half the amount of time. And even more so, sometimes it's more effective and better. Remember that time scarcity? If you can apply scarcity in a positive way, physically under your control, you can actually create way better things at a higher price point. And that's powerful. That's great. But again, we still run off of this super deeply subconscious programmed belief that it has to be hard. So I just want you to start noticing that. Start paying attention again to what you're making hard, but especially as it revolves around money. We're really rippling off of that initial conversation about it doesn't have to be painful, it's not a test, it can be easy. And we're just diving deeper into it, especially as it revolves around the amount of money you're bringing in and what work really means for you. And we're challenging this program of work and what it has to look like. And just looking for, and this is kind of that second tier challenge for you, is to look for the evidence that it can look entirely differently than what you've had programmed within yourself to believe it had to look like. Okay, so that's your challenge for the day. Go out and kick it, and I will see you all tomorrow. And until then, I hope you wander wealthy.